out with you. So he stayed there for 40 days and practiced. And he came back with all these insights that he brought back to the Beijing. So one of which is called the 4 word secrets. Fu, Gai, Dui, Tun. And the 4 word secrets, what it really meant was guarded super secretively. So Wu Yuxiang did not pass it on to the majority of his disciples. He only passed on to, he passed on entirely to one guy that we know of. There's written in the classics of Yang style Tai Chi is some really interesting sayings and wisdom about this. So the one I like is by the master Wu Yuxiang. He wrote this famous thing called the 4 字诀, the 4 word secrets. Okay, so he was a disciple of Yang Luchan, the founder of Yang style Tai Chi, and he learned Yang style Tai Chi in Beijing, and he's like, this is awesome. I love this stuff. And then, as you guys will understand, I need more of this stuff. So Yang Luchan is teaching, and he learned so much, and he wanted to get more. So what does he do? He goes back to the Chen Tai Chi village. He's going to go back to the source, going to meet my teacher's teacher and see what they have to say about this. He goes back to the Chen village. He says, hey, I'm a student of your student, Yang Luchan, and I want to learn more. They go, oh, you want to do more Tai Chi? Show me your Tai Chi. And he starts showing him his Yang Tai Chi. And they're like, what the heck is that? This is so different from our Chen Tai Chi, right? So it's like, no, come on, don't hold back. Teach me. I mean, I'm paraphrasing a lot. and then the Chen master said, I think you would have the most luck if you want to learn Tai Chi like what you showed, right? With Master Chen Qingping over in Zhaobao village. Yeah, he does things a little different from us. It looks a little bit more like what you do. You go, all right, off to Zhaobao village I go. It's I think like 5 miles or 10 miles down the road. So he goes over there, finds Chen Qingping, and he's like, oh, cool. Yeah, I'll work it out with you. So he stayed there for 40 days and practiced. And he came back with all these insights that he brought back to the Beijing. So one of which is called the 4 word secrets. Fu, Gai, Dui, Tun. Okay, Fu means to drape, you made a plate of appetizer, dessert, snacks for your party, but there's flies. You cover it with something, drape something over it. Okay, Fu. And Gai also means to cover, but more heavily. Fu is like a gently covering. Gai means to heavily covering. Dui means to outline with or to line up against. And Tun means to swallow. All right, so you're probably thinking like, what does this have to do with Tai Chi at all? It's extremely abstract, okay? And the 4 word secrets, what it really meant was guarded super secretively. So Wu Yuxiang did not pass it on to the majority of his disciples. He only passed on to, he passed on entirely to one guy that we know of, and partially, like parts of them or incomplete understandings of them, to another disciple. I'll write their names out later in the captions. And then his other disciples didn't even receive that secret, so he kept it very close to him. But what it means is, Fu means to extend your awareness beyond your body, like we say in Neijin mastery. So I'm going to drape something over something. So I'm draping my awareness and my qi around this space. And then Gai is when it actually touches your plate of food. Does that make sense? In this case, the plate of food is your energy, your awareness, you. Okay. And so let me show you what I mean by that, okay? So if we're fighting, okay, stay back there for a second. Sure. You need a little bit of distance. Okay. So, if we're like kickboxing, okay, so we'd be like right here, put your hands up, right? So I don't just like go right up, and just like slugging away, right? I'm gonna see how do you respond to my jab, okay? But not only that, like what do you do when I step in? Do you step back or do you step to the side? So I'm getting a sense that he likes to shake them to the side. So we're kind of measuring out how people respond and deciding how I want to attack him after that. So that's them testing each other's responses. Does that make sense?
Yes.
We've all seen this. We are familiar with it, right? And you see like when cats fight, they're like, it's kind of that thing. Okay, so Fu means I expand my awareness and you expand your awareness. And remember we talked about whose root is lower, right? So put your hands up. If your root is low, okay, and then don't let me push you over. So your root is low. I'm here like this, and I'm trying to apply my pung like this. There's some difficulty, right? And from here, once my root gets lower than his, my pung, yeah, still struggle. Don't give up easily. So if my root is too high, then I'm the one that's struggling. When my root is low, I'm not struggling. So the person with the lower root has the more effective awareness and control of the qi here. Okay. Okay. So you're standing there, and I'm standing here, hands up. So we're opponents, right? So I got my personal space, my awareness of right here. So I've draped in this area, and he has his own personal space, of which the qi is associated with him under his influence. So when our bubbles touch, my bubble is about this big and his is about likewise, right? Right now we're not touching. There we're touching. Okay? You feel that intersection? So our personal space is not crossing. You're comfortable, you have your hands up, you're alert, but you're comfortable. And nothing's happening. Nothing's happening. Nothing's happening right at the border. There. I mean that you feel that change.
Yes,
that's when our respective qi circles became a Venn diagram. That's when they overlapped. Once it overlaps, I can feel whether his root or his qi control is better than mine. You know, like let's say like you're at a meeting, business meeting, whatever, okay, and then you got two guys each trying to be the leader of this meeting. They're just talking, trying to talk over each other, and eventually everyone falls in line and more listens to one guy than the other. Sort of the debate is over. Does that make sense, right? So who has taken control of this domain, of this meeting space? Does that make sense? Who's got the charisma or whatever? We're not talking about charisma here. We're talking about authority over who's more grounded and can control their yi and their qi. Does that make sense?
Yes, sir.
So right there, you got your control of your yi and qi. I got my control of my yi and qi. And once I enter, let's say I have the intention I want to float him. I'm going to pung him, right? So here, I'm in his circle, and I could feel, can I pung him? And if I feel my own awareness shift away from how I wanted it. So right now I'm feeling good. I'm feeling pung. I walk in, and suddenly, I don't feel good. I don't feel my pung. That means his like zen or his centering is better than mine. Like, that's no good. I'm gonna step back out. I'm safe right here again. And I might want to like distract you, do some stepping, do some trash talking or something to throw you off your game. But if I enter and I still feel the way that I want to feel, the way my Tai Chi feels, the way my Qi feels, then that means I've covered you with my draping. So your Qi is now like my Qi. So the Fu is the first one establishing my sphere of awareness of this energy and intention. And Gai is when I've entered and I still have it. That means I'm starting to cover his awareness and energy. Does that make sense?
Yes, sir.
Okay, cool. This is kind of esoteric, so I'm kind of belaboring the point perhaps. So once I know that could hands up. So once I know that I still have it, once I enter from here, I still have it, I feel good, I can come all the way in and I could pump him and it'll be successful. I mean, he could run away or whatever, but if we have a contest if we go straight to like our push hand sumo, then I should win. So once I've covered him, I know that I have controlled this domain from our nature mastery, then Dui means to align with him. Align with, what part of him do I align with?
His spirit?
Yeah, what part of your spirit?
The intention to harm, I guess?
The intention to harm, yes. So where his spirit intention is from his center, when we say in Tai Chi, we find people's center. Okay, we don't, at the energetic, at the internal level, we don't mean the center of mass, center of gravity. I know where that is, I don't have to find it. It's like about where your bladder is, okay? So if you're a regular shaped human being, it's right there, okay? So put your hands up. I don't mean that I'm finding a leverage to his center, getting below and pushing. Not like that, okay? I touch him, resist me, right? Mentally and physically. So, or let's just physical. So he's got physical force like this, and I pung him and he starts to go over, right? So try to maintain your centering, your sinking or whatever to resist my floating. Okay, so now he's mentally resisting my, that, okay? Once he starts resisting my floating, and my floating came from my my covering, from draping to covering. So I covered him in floating, and he's like, I'm not floating, screw you. So once that happens, you can have a sense of where that resistance is coming from. What part, where is his mind or spirit or focus? You know, and what I mean is like, let's say you just bought the most delicious smoothie, and you're like coming here telling me about the smoothie. His awareness is in the smoothie. His center is in the smoothie. Okay, and then right now as we're speaking, his awareness is probably either on me speaking or on his ears listening or his mind thinking. Right. So our awareness, our center of awareness shifts around. Okay. So come here. Don't let me float you. Don't let me pung you. So here I'm putting a pung through him, and he's resisting. And you can feel where a sense of where that is coming from. Okay. To me, it's coming from like roughly his solar plexus area. I could be right or wrong. It doesn't matter. Just how you perceive it. Once I have that, I can align with it. That's the dui. I align with his center, and I apply the Neijin to his center. I apply, say, Ji to his center, and so he starts to shift. He can still resist that. Okay, so I'm trying to apply Peng. He resists. I find the center. I apply the Ji towards the center, and so he cannot resist really by any means except by kind of like by force and by weight. He could lean against it. He could sit against it. He could, and now that exposes that fully exposes his intention at that point. So in Dui, I found where it's coming from, okay? And then when he resists that, then I know what his intention is. Am I gonna go toward, he wants to push me over, sit against it with his weight or whatever? And so the last word, twin, I swallow that. I take your intention. It's mine now. It's what we did in E-Mastery, where we find the intention point and we move it around to move them. So let me show you step by step. So you stay there. So I'm here. From here, I have Fu draping. I have my Peng energy. I've crossed. I still have it. So I've guide. I've covered. Okay, and he's resisting that. So I found the center. I have Dui. Once I have that, I swallow that. It's mine. Then I could do whatever I want very, very easily at that point. So come again. He resists me. From Fu, Gai, I still have it. I Dui. I find it. And then see, and a twin. Once I have that, see, it's easy for me to move them whichever direction. So that is the meaning of the four-word secret: Fu, Gai, Dui, twin. And it's so hard for people to figure it out because it requires the unusual process of acknowledging that this starts before contact. A lot of times people think of it as like, oh, it must be how are my Tingjin. Is my hands lightly touching his hand. That's my Fu and Gai and Dui. I'm looking for a center through geometrically and physically. Okay, John, step back for a second. So when you do it like that, you're missing half the picture, the half that happens before. And so I wanted to present that. So so you see in this one, all we're doing this whole time was what we're looking for is your intention, your center of spirit, center of intention. And once we have that, then I can defeat your resistance. And by defeating, I didn't cut it, I didn't kill it, I am finding it and transforming it. So the intention in Tai Chi is, by its very nature, accepting, now swallowing is one word, but accepting is another way to put it, is accepting and transformative. You know, it's almost like a motherly healing intention, like Ray's got a tantrum. He's really upset at me because I said we're not going to the zoo later, and so he's going to come and punch me. So I'm not just shutting down. It's like, screw you, no zoo, just shut up and go to your room. Right? It's not like that. It's like I understand you're very upset, right? We're not going to go to the zoo, but let me help you understand why you're upset and what we can do instead. So it's an accepting, transforming, almost nurturing kind of spirit and mentality. And that's totally different. So any questions?
No questions.
Okay, does that all make sense? Yeah. So there you go. Fu, Gai, Dui, twin. A very interesting concept from the early days of the Yang Tai Chi and the writing that was passed on. So thanks for helping me illustrate that. Enjoy your practice. Thanks for watching.